Shalom, Israel. It's your boy New Breed coming through with another live stream. As you enter the chat, make sure you mash that thumbs up button. Today we about to go all the way in. We got sources for today's topic. We want to talk about when conspiracies become reality. I find this particular topic very necessary. It's very appropriate when you're looking at what's going on in the world. And I know a lot of you are going to be able to relate to this topic because a lot of us chosen, elected brothers and sisters of the congregation, a lot of us have been saying a lot of things was going to take place within the earth. And now it's actually happening. But when we were saying it, people looked at us as being quote unquote crazy, right? They said, martial law? What the hell is martial law? Ain't no martial law. What are you talking about? Mark of the beast? Mark of the beast? Where are you getting at here? And now, with all that's taking place in the world, nobody seems to have any answers, except for the same people who was isolated, ostracized, and completely disregarded. And now those are the same people that a lot of people are turning to for answers. Because look, they go to the church, there's no answer. They go to their social functions, there's no answer. They deal with their immediate circle, there's no answer. But you brothers and sisters who have been actually targeted by this system for having political and religious differences, now you see what's going on. And not only are you prepared for what's going on, you look forward to what's going on because you can see the overall outcome. While everybody else is confused, while everybody else is in fear, we know what's going to happen after all of this chaos. And that's what we look forward to, the light at the end of the tunnel. But it seems that man has now put his trust in man and not the Almighty. So now a lot of these people are deterred in the overall goal for salvation. Now we're going to go in today. I got lots of sources that I'm going to be playing. We got a lot to talk about. It's time to really ring the alarm and sound the trumpet. Hopefully this video can stay right here on this platform. I'm going to try my best not to go in too hard because you know how it is. But I'm going to go to the sources. I'm going to let a lot of these sources speak for itself, and I'm just going to react. All right? But before I go into my sources, let me see who all up in the chat, man. I see y'all rolling in pretty quick. Yeah. I see Hefe up in here. I see Maria here. Yeah, I'm glad y'all catching another stream. As y'all can see, I'm rocking a hallelujah hat. Shout out to Rima Word Clothing, the clothing that ministers. The real Derek Jackson was good, family. I see you up in here. Right, I see who else we got up in this joint? Shantae. We got Blue Aurora in here. We got Callie in the house. If y'all in here, y'all make sure y'all mash that thumbs up. Because y'all already know that it's about to get real. And these are the type of videos that warn the people. And that's our responsibility as the chosen and elected. Omarion Slaughter, I see you up in the house. Shout out, shout out. Yeah. All right, we're about to go in. We're going to talk about what's going to take place in the near future and what has already been taking place in plain sight. See, a lot of things that happen are hidden in plain sight. A lot of things are so outright and blunt that people are in disbelief. And, you know, magicians and sorcerers, they like to hide things in plain sight. That's a way of keeping you distracted. That's a way of keeping you in disbelief. For instance, a lot of times when they roll out certain programs that strip away freedoms and liberties, they do it in a science fiction book first, but they put all factual content inside of science fiction. So they're hiding the truth in plain sight, literally, in the name of entertainment. And that's why Hollywood is so important to their overall agenda, because it entertains you at the same time it's telling you what they're going to do. It's called predictive programming. It's getting the public ready to accept societal changes. Therefore, they would never accept unless they seen it first, unless they were brainwashed, unless they had those images in their optics. They would never be able to accept it unless they showed it to you first. That's how the devil works. And you got to know this. And it's several reasons why they do it that way. Number one, they know that it will be a public rebellion. It will be outraged if they were to just simply push things out there on the people. So it has to be done systematically. They have to chip away at the public. This mass deception has to be done incrementally and systematically. Yesterday, I did a video that went on Patreon. It was called, Will the People Rebel Against the Draconian Beast System? And I had to remove that video because it was a lot of flame in there that just was not going to be able to stay on this platform. But you can watch it on Patreon. But the reason why they have to roll it out is because they know there'll be public outrage. And during this video about the draconian beast system, I made it very clear that people will rebel, but their energy will be misdirected. Their energy will be misdirected for the simple fact they've already been conditioned through all of these movies to go into chaotic mode, to go into riot mode, not to mention all these various agencies that set up to create provocateurs among us. But the movies, they've showed you the images of us standing in the streets, throwing Molotov cocktails at the police. They showed us images of the military in the streets marching and the people rioting, the people marching towards the military. They've showed you those images many, many, many times. And that is not even the war that we should be fighting, because look, a lot of us got family who police, we got family who military, and we outnumber the 1%. But they're so masterful in deception that we don't know where to gear our energy towards. But today, I'm going to show you the puppet behind. I'm going to show you the puppeteers behind it all. All right? At least the prominent figures that's being utilized in the earth right now. All right? First of all, we got to talk about Agenda 21. I'm about to go to a source right here. All right? And this source is actually, we're going to go to the news. We're going to Sun News, SUN News. And you're about to listen to none other than Glenn Beck. And I want you to hear Glenn Beck's take on Agenda 21, which is something that we've been speaking about a whole lot. All right. But now Agenda 21 is becoming a reality. It's no longer a conspiracy theory. All right. Now let's get it.
Sheer number of humans who live here. Something has to give. And I believe that it's up to us who have lived a good life to make sure that our children will have the opportunity to live good lives too. I have lived a good life.
Hey, make sure y'all go ahead and hit the 1 in the chat if y'all can hear the audio. Just put a 1 in the chat if everything is clear, okay? Yeah, I'm waiting on y'all. Hit a 1 in the chat if that audio is clear.
I have lived a good life.
I have lived a good
Okay, cool. Let's get it.
life.
I have lived a good life.
All right, so this is starting off with these reptilian, sinister looking beings talking about how we need to depopulate the earth so we can live a good life. Let me go back and play that because this is absolutely astonishing here.
Humans who live here. Something has to give. And I believe that it's up to us who have lived a good life to make sure that our children will have the opportunity to live good lives too. I have lived a good life.
Now, everybody who is saying this, that we need to depopulate to make sure their children live a good life, they all happen to be elderly Caucasian people. All right? They all happen to be elderly Caucasian. It's just an observation here.
I have lived a good life.
I have lived a good life.
I have lived a good life.
And that was actually a commercial for Agenda 21. What you have is some sinister reptilian beings talking about the world needs to be depopulated so their children can live a good life because they have lived a good life. Now, my question is, what is truly compromising your existence and the existence of your children? Is it really the people? Because I'm one who travels, right? I'm one who gets on a plane and I see acres upon acres upon acres upon acres of free land. There's enough land on this earth to house everyone. I'm talking about if you get in a plane and look down, there's so many open fields of land. Matter of fact, if you drive down a country road, right? You drive down a country road, you're going to see nothing but open field after open field, acres, 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 and more acres of land, right? So let's talk about what Agenda 21 is. Agenda 21, a part of the local denomination of Agenda 21, is to block off certain living areas for people. So this is not about the world being overpopulated. This is not about it not being enough space or enough resources, because if we take care of the earth, we know the resources, the food, the vegetation, the plants will grow. It's common sense. So what is it really about? What is compromising the existence of you and your offspring? We'll talk about that a little bit later in the video, but let's go ahead and go back to the source.
We've been talking about Agenda 21 on this program for some time now, and I always say it sounds like something, a spoof out of an Austin Powers movie, not something real, but it is a real project of the United Nations, and a scary one at that. It's led to this book, Agenda 21 by Glenn Beck. It is a fiction book, but it is based in fact. Glenn Beck joins us.
A fiction book that's based in facts. That's how they always roll it out, because once they begin to pass legislation and put things on paper and make it law, even though it's in plain sight, even though they have commercials, they have literal commercials telling you they want to depopulate right there in plain sight. But because it started off with a fictional story, people are like, well, that's conspiracy. You know, that's just some old sci-fi channel stuff. They hide in plain sight. It's reality.
Now from his studios in Dallas, Texas. Glenn, you've probably done more on this to bring it to the light of a sizable audience than anybody I know. What first sparked your interest in Agenda 21?
I felt exactly like you did. When you first heard it, you're like, come on, that's kind of conspiracy. Because, I mean, who names something Agenda 21? I mean, when I flew into Seattle airport one night, and the Department of Homeland Security actually paints their helicopters, I'm not kidding, black. And I'm like, come on, guys. Really, you've got actual black helicopters. So I didn't believe it. And we started doing our research, and it's so overwhelmingly out in the open, you can't believe that nobody else is looking. And so
But guess what? The watchers are always watching. The Most High's people are always looking at what's going on. We always looking because we got to warn the people. Brothers and sisters, you got to warn the people. Now, we got to get into some more semantics on what this Agenda 21 is, because it's more than just depopulation. And we're going to find out exactly what it is here. Let's allow Glenn Beck to start unearthing the facts here. All right.
talked about it when I was on Fox, and Harriet Park is one of the women who was watching our show, and I said, we have to get this out in every format we can, because who's going to read 2,000 pages from the UN? And so she actually started writing this book, and we put it together and finished it to try to get it out to as many people as we possibly can, because it is truly terrifying. Truly terrifying.
And we'll get into some specifics in a minute. Let's remind the audience what the United Nations defines Agenda 21 as, because it is fairly all-encompassing. And this is right from their preamble of their Agenda 21 document. Agenda 21 is a comprehensive plan of action.
Now, he's reading right from sustainabledevelopment.org. That's where you can actually find this article. Sustainabledevelopment.org. All right, that's what he's reading from. At least I read the same information from that website, but let's get it.
Action to be taken globally, nationally, and locally by organizations of the United Nations systems, governments, and major groups in every area in which human impacts on the environment. Based on their own definition, I would say that.
Tell me, Brian, what?
So listen, that's on every level, on a state level, federal level, local level, and it's based on the environment. But let's let them continue.
What on God's green earth do humans not impact? That statement, that last sentence is so critical for people to understand. That means every aspect of your life, from start to finish, everything you impact the environment on.
And as you read through the document, and you're right, it is long, it is boring.
I mean, you got to think about it. When you get in your car and drive, you impact the environment. If you have a quote unquote virus, you impact the environment. Spraying hairspray impacts the environment. So it becomes them targeting brothers and sisters in the name of public health. It becomes them actually targeting people, making it seem like we are an obstruction to the earth itself. And that's why it's called sustainable development. They want to sustain the earth. In order to do so, we got to get rid of you to sustain the earth. And this is what they coming in. We'd already know it's about something else. And we're going to talk about what it's really about, because this is just total malarkey lunacy. They're saying that you are a problem. You affect the earth. We got to save the earth. So look, to make a long story short, we got to eradicate thus amount of people. Telling you right there in plain sight. They got commercials, y'all.
It is tedious, but it's important for somebody to know and then to spread it out there. They've got a chapter on education that talks about finding ways to make the populace know that this is the way that we need to be going, and prepare them to accept the decisions of the leaders. And I found similar things on the federal government of Canada's own website. Similar statements. In fact, here's an interesting thing I did. I did a Google advanced search of Agenda 21 and sustainable development, those terms, versus free market and free enterprise. Guess what shows up more? So this stuff is everywhere. What's the most bothersome to you? To me, it is that the United Nations is doing an end run around national governments and working directly with local governments to push this.
Bingo. It's exactly what I was going to say.
The national government and local governments. Now, this is where the situation gets a little bit sticky, because on a local level, you got your various governors, mayors, so on and so forth, who can basically work with these people who've created Agenda 21, and they can make decisions on a local level for a cash advance. Who knows? It could be some kind of stimulus check that they get to do certain things locally. And I mean, that's phenomenal right there, man. That literally takes away freedom. But let's go. Let's get it. Let's listen more.
This is, I mean, they are working with our national governments, gangbusters. And in the United States, it was George H.W. Bush, not the last one, but George H.W. Bush that brought this into our system nationally. He started when he gave the speech, we have an opportunity now for a new world order. That raised the hair on my neck when he said that. But this is exactly what he meant. He started implementing Agenda 21 into our federal bureaucracy. But what's more hair-raising, and also the positive of this, is that it is in all of our local governments. I don't care how small of a town you live in. If you go and you look for Agenda 21 in your town, you will find it.
Okay, but here's the problem.
Everywhere.
Here's the problem that people find, and this is why I appreciate what
Agenda 21 is everywhere.
you did.
No matter how small the town you live in, on a local and state level. Everybody call Agenda 21 a conspiracy theory, a theory that they want to depopulate.
Did on the website that you've got to go with the book is that you said you might not find the words Agenda 21, but you'll find these buzzwords. Sustainable development is the main one. What else should people be looking out for?
So look out for the word sustainable development.
If they want to know if this plan to, let's talk about what Agenda 21 does. They want to reshape consumption patterns, meaning they want to change what we eat, what we buy, what we use, how we use it. They want to change how we live. They want us living like you used to in New York, in big, tall high-rises, and forget about a little acreage outside the city.
Yeah,
Hey, that was key right there, what he just said. They rather you stay within the confines of the city. They don't want you moving outside of the cities because it's harder to get a grasp on who's out there. I mean, have we ever wondered why so much free land that people haven't bought or, made a place of refuge or a home? Why they haven't purchased certain places and lived there outside the confines of everything and grow their own crops? It's all because of Agenda 21. It's all because of Agenda 21.
You won't be able to. It's all about sustainable development, sustainable projects, sustainable earth, anything that revolves around, believe it or not, like bike pathways. Cities that they want to get rid of the cars. New York is doing a big thing right now where they're just eliminating lanes one by one on the street until eventually you just won't have a car anymore. You look for things on.
Wow, they're getting rid of lanes in New York City, so you won't have a car anymore, because traffic is so crowded and bombarded in New York City. So they're trying to basically get rid of the roads right now, y'all. This is happening. This is reality. So guess what? There's no escape. There's no way to get out. They could shut the trains down and that's it. A lot of New Yorkers don't drive. This is on purpose. This is Agenda 21. And then when Barack Obama was in office, they did the whole cash for clunkers thing where they made you sell all of the old cars. And Barack Obama, he had a bill where they would give you a check for your cars that's not electric cars. Because a lot of these other cars have GPS systems and they're electric. They can actually shut the car down through the tracking devices. They can do all of these things. This is all by design to keep you as comfortable and stagnant as possible. Y'all don't see how much Uber Eats is rolling out now. Even your groceries, right? Even your groceries right now, they don't even want you going to the grocery store. They're pushing you just ordering your groceries and having somebody deliver them to your door. They want you as complacent as possible. And I'm going to tell you, the Bible tells you that a traveled man gaineth much wisdom. It's important to move around in this day and age. It's important not to get complacent anywhere, because you see how these demons are working. It's so many people in the world, they gotta get you still to control you.
Protected areas and new zoning laws. They're going into farming communities and they're changing the zoning.
They're going into farming communities and changing the zoning.
And you won't even know it until you go sell your farm. But they will say, you know what, this is no longer zoned for farming. Once you sell, it will no longer be zoned for farming, let's say half of your acreage.
So once you sell your farming land, you don't even know that they've been doing zoning. And once you sell some of your acres, they can make sure it's blocked off so nobody else can farm there. So nobody else can, start to grow crops there. They don't even want us controlling our food.
Because of it's a wetland or it's this land or it's a
We have
wilderness area.
where I live in eastern Ontario, up the Ottawa Valley. The bobolink is not a natural bird; it's an invasive species, and farmers are prohibited from cutting their own hay if there's bobolinks nesting in there. They've been told, no, you just got to leave the crop. There's a bird in there.
Wow.
Do you know what they're saying is an unsustainable human activity? This will blow your mind. Tillage.
Tillage, and
Tilling the
allowing
soil.
the fields.
So they're saying it's unsustainable for the earth to actually till the soil, brothers and sisters. To till soil.
Plowing the fields. It's an unsustainable human activity that has to be stopped according to the United Nations.
Wow, these humans must be stopped. We're destroying the earth, trying to grow our own foods, plowing the land and tilling the soil and tending to the earth so crops can grow. We're destroying the earth. We must be stopped. The humans must be taken out.
Tillage. Well, how do you grow food without tillage? This is some of the most insane things you've ever seen ever in your life. And when you talked about, Brian, when you read that about education, where they say we have to get people to the point to where they accept this, that's what this book is really all about.
They've already gotten people to the point they accept it. The moment where it was deemed a conspiracy theory, although it was legislation and law, and people started to believe that it was a conspiracy theory. When you would talk about Agenda 21, man, people just really covered their ears and closed their eyes.
After the world has accepted it, what does it look like? There is no private ownership after Agenda 21.
No private ownership
is unsustainable. There is no private land. It's unsustainable. There are about 3/4 of the United States of America are human no-go zones. Look up the maps on the UN website.
Oh, y'all got to hear that one part. This clip is almost over.
There is no private land. It's unsustainable. There are about 3/4 of the United States of America are human no-go zones. Look up.
Wow.
There is no private land.
He said 3/4 of America is a human no-go zone. All because of Agenda 21. So all that land and free opportunity and all of that space that I was just talking about, they're no-go zones. Agenda 21 literally have blocked off where you can live. And you know, this is going to show us all that the Most High is the only way to escape what's taking place in this earth. He's the only way. And we're going to talk more about that. Let me finish this clip off.
It's unsustainable. There are about 3/4 of the United States of America are human no-go zones. Look up the maps on the UN website.
The rewilding.
It's insane.
Okay.
You're not allowed as a human to go on there to protect the animals. And so they're moving all of the people into the cities. where they can control and we'll live the way they tell us to live. The days of having a farm, the days of having a little bit of land outside of the city, those days are numbered if we don't stop Agenda 21.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I had a friend that was a CO in a jail, in a women's prison, and she made a very interesting analogy that the way apartment complexes are set up is the exact same way how the prison is set up. Prison is just a community within a community. It's the same thing, the same way apartments are stacked together, and the police come and drive through the complex and kind of watch the people. It's the same thing in prison. It's like, are we really free? I mean, they're in prison, they're behind bars. We're in these communities that's tight knit right next to each other, being watched. It's just like a prison that's outdoors. And that's what Agenda 21 have set up. So if you can get out of the city, get out of these cities. Get out of these cities. Because I'll tell you right now, they're not worried about having control over anyone in the cities, because they already have the control over everyone in the cities, if you're really looking at it. But it's one thing they don't have control over. They don't have control over our spirituality. They don't have control on our relationship with the Heavenly Father. They don't have control over the Holy Spirit that guides and directs us in these times. Let's finish this clip off, a couple more seconds here.
Because you mentioned the family farm, I'll leave you with this, then we'll go to break and come back and talk more about the book. Another crazy thing from where I live, they've actually told people that have family farms outside of the city, you can't cut off an acre to build a house for your kids for when they grow up. You're just not allowed to do it because we don't want more houses in rural areas. They say it's to protect the farmland, but it's also to stop people from using their own land. Glenn,
Exactly right.
Let's come back in a minute and get into what the...
Wow. Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? See, all of the prophets who are supposed to be teaching, the seers, the church leaders, he covered the faces of the judges. This world was given over to the hands of the wicked. The reason why all this is possible is because Lucifer, Satan, is running this current world that we living in. But the new world order is not going to be what these demonic people believe it's going to be. It's going to be a changing of the baton. They're going to have to hand the baton over because our God is going to judge the wickedness. All of those people at the beginning of that clip who said, hey, we need to depopulate because we want our children to have a better life. All of those people are not afraid of us attacking the earth and destroying the earth and destroying the ozone layer. It's a contradiction in itself that they're telling you that tilling soil and plowing the earth is damaging the earth when that's how we sustain. That's how we actually sustain and eat and survive. These people are twisted and demented. What they're really afraid of is the end of their reign, of their rulership. The Bible says Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the ruler to follow. Now, for those who don't know who Jacob and Esau is, you can do an extensive study on your own time within the Bible. But to make a long story short, Jacob and Esau were brothers in the same womb with two different nationalities or races. Esau would be the progenitor of the so-called Caucasians, or those from the Caucasus, the progenitor of what we call the Edomites, those who control and ran the Roman Catholicism, the pagans, the witches, the sorcerers, the magicians, the Illuminati bloodlines. Now, when we talk about Esau and Edomites, that's a whole nother historical topic for another day. But that's what it is. Now, I got plenty more sources, y'all. I want y'all to mash that thumbs up if you gain an edification in this chat, because we got some more sources. We just getting warmed up. I'm telling you, I'm about to bring the heat today. Y'all go ahead and mash that thumbs up, spread this video, man. Work with me, y'all. Work with me. Now, Agenda 21 is a reality. No conspiracy theory there. Now, we got to go to another source. We got to show how this, I would say, public health tyranny has rolled out against the people and what to expect, because it's personal freedoms versus public safety. Now we need to see what to expect. All right, so I'm gonna take y'all to
At a park and ride.
one moment. We going to Sky News. We going to Sky News, and this is entitled "How the Military Are Helping the Government to Ramp Up COVID-19 Testing." How the military are ramping up COVID-19 testing. Y'all need to hear this.
On the outskirts of Salisbury, soldiers are testing for COVID-19. This is the first of 96 Ministry of Defence mobile units being deployed in the coming weeks.
One of these units is designed to carry enough test kits for 500 tests a day, but by virtue of the nature of a mobile testing unit, it may well have to move to a number of different locations in one day. So that isn't specifically the target, but it has the capacity to carry that. We would expect realistically to get about 300 tests done in one day, and we know that we can deliver about 50 tests in 1 hour quite comfortably.
These units can be set.
Now, why on earth do we need the military distributing COVID-19 tests? The military, brothers and sisters, the ones who are supposed to be defending the land, have become medical physicians.
Set up in as little as 20 minutes.
Those needing a test first check in with a soldier at the entrance to this car park. They're then told to drive around. You can see there's a couple of tents at the back. That's where they pick up the tests. They're handed to them through the driver's window. If there's any problems, they're told to put their hazards on and they'll come and help. Once the test is done, they drop it off to the soldiers at the gazebo over there. As you can see, there's not much to it, and that really is the whole point. These are mobile rapid response units which can be deployed to wherever testing.
So you got mobile rapid response units all over the UK going around just testing people. This is crazy, brothers and sisters. This is absolute lunacy. Now they're going to come in the whole auspice of it being voluntary or voluntary. But when you see military with suits, AK-47s or AR-15s on their waist, with a Q-tip, how many people are just going to feel threatened by that? See, it's an art to what they're doing. It's an art to the fear tactics that they use. It's subjection. They're alluding to the fact that you don't have the freedom. But guess what? The Most High says, fear not. And when you know you have the freedom, when you know you have the rights to decline, you need to take those rights. If you're an individual who doesn't want this test, you have the rights not to take it, because this is coming to America. In this election, in this campaign run, in these debates, never before in history have we seen such legislation put on the table in regards to military and this medical practice. But it's there.
Is needed. The units will travel to frontline staff in places like prisons, police stations, and care homes. It's welcome news for staff at Grove Care in Bristol. They were told their nearest testing site was a 125-mile round trip to Worcester.
It is so important for us as nursing homes to be able to have quick, easy access to testing, but also quick results so that we know what we're doing. A lot of our staff team, our carers and nurses go into isolation if they've been running a high temperature. And often we found that, you know, someone's been in isolation for a couple of weeks. It's made it really challenging for the team.
Last week, key workers outside of the NHS were also put on the priority list for testing. The government has reiterated its aim of carrying out 100,000 tests a day by the end of April. It's currently...
Wow, 100,000 tests by the end of April. Now, that's interesting that they said the end of April, right? Y'all heard that date, the end of April. I'm going to show you, the people, especially you people who are pro-Donald Trump, that Donald Trump is right in lines with doing the same thing by the end of April. Okay? I'm going to show you this because there's a lot of teachers out here. There's a lot of people in the Christian church teaching that Donald Trump is the quote unquote great white hope. He's the savior. He's the Messiah. If we elect Donald Trump, if we put him back into the office, he's going to save our lives. All right? I'm going to show you that Donald Trump is right in lines with what he's saying. All right? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Let's get it, Donald Trump.
As part of Operation Warp Speed, my administration's manufacturing all of the most promising vaccines.
He said Operation Warp Speed. This is what Donald Trump is calling it, Operation Warp Speed. Hopefully y'all can hear this. Operation Warp Speed. Tell us what you're going to do, Trump.
Operation Warp Speed, my administration's manufacturing all of the most promising vaccines in advance.
Oh, what? He's manufacturing what? All the promising vaccines? Is that what he said? Damn it, ain't he trying to do the same damn thing that Biden is doing? All of them are trying to push vaccines, right? Are we hearing this correctly? Did Donald Trump say Operation Warp Speed is to roll out all the prominent vaccines? Ain't that what he just said? Oh, man, come on, let's get it.
It'll be fairly long in advance. As soon as a vaccine is approved,
as soon as a what is approved? A vaccine, right?
Will deliver it to the American people immediately. Distribution will begin within 24 hours after notice, and the general, I think those are the words specifically you wanted us to use. Within 24 hours, you're all set to go, and massive amounts will be delivered through our great military and the general.
Oh, through our what? Massive amounts will be released through who? Through our military. Through who? Through the military. Vaccines are going to be given to the military. Donald Trump is the great white hope, right? Are we not, man? All right, let's get it.
Is one of our best, and he is ready to go. We'll have manufactured at least 100 million vaccine doses before the end of the year, and likely much more than that. Hundreds of millions of doses will be available every month, and we expect to have enough vaccines for every American by April.
By what? He said millions. He expects to have enough vaccinations by April. Same thing that Great Britain said, right? By April. Everybody is on one accord, brothers and sisters. So stop listening to these false prophets, these liars, because they speak nice to you. Nobody is telling you the truth right now on YouTube. Not one single individual is telling you the truth, but right here. This is the only place you're getting it right now. I'm just keeping it quite frank with you because I have no political connections. A lot of these people are gainsayers. A lot of these people are Masons. A lot of these people are liars. I'm telling you what it is. Straight up. He said by April, he plans on distributing massive amounts of vaccines through the military. Great Britain saying the same thing. They already got military on the streets going door to door in Great Britain and the UK. But Donald Trump is right on board. This is the whole world is going to do the same thing. If you were looking at Donald Trump and Joe Biden and Democrats and Republicans, you are looking at theater. You're looking at a dog and pony show. You're looking at a circus. The Most High God wants us to turn to him, to his laws, his statutes, his commandments. He wants us to live according to his rules. In the book of John, it says, if you love me, keep my commandments. If you love me, keep my commandments. All these people acting like it's all about love, love, love. If you love the Most High, follow his word.
And
let's listen.
Again, I'll say that even at that later stage, the delivery will go as fast as it comes. They can deliver. They're very good. Best, I think, probably the best in the world. The estimates I'm providing today are based on the manufacturing that's in process, and that's in process immediately right now. We've already exceeded our ambitious goals under the Defense Production Act. Contracts that we've secured, we may...
The Defense Production Act. You can look that up. Operation Warp Speed, Donald Trump. Yeah.
Even get far above these numbers. The numbers that I'm telling you today, I think we'll exceed them very, very substantially. And I think that also includes distribution. I think distribution will go even quicker than most people think. I'm relying on our military. Everything I've done with our military has worked out very well. In a short time, we'll have a safe and effective vaccine, and we'll...
A vaccine. In a matter of time, we'll have a safe, effective vaccine, Operation Warp Speed, into April.
Defeat the virus. Interestingly, as I was saying, that go very...
And then they'll defeat the virus. I'm beginning to think that we are the virus. Is anybody else sharing those same sentiments? That the people are the virus? That a certain demographic of people threaten the future of another demographic of people?
Well, just like what we did with our military with respect to ISIS went very well, long ahead of schedule.
Now, how can he compare this to ISIS? You know, we did that with ISIS, it went very well. So if it went well with ISIS, then it definitely will go well against a virus, right? Wasn't it a war against ISIS? Even though some would say that, well, I'm gonna leave that part out. That'll get my video. Nah, I'm gonna leave that part out. I want to keep this on YouTube for y'all. Let me go. Let's play this. Finish the rest of this one.
They have been incredible in working with me.
There you have it. So all you people who praising Trump, he's bringing a vaccine too. Operation Warp Speed. Now what you got to say? Now, I'm done exposing Trump. I'm done exposing Joe Biden. I've been doing that the last few days. But it's interesting because Trump, he brings truth mixed in with lies. You know, they have to give you some similitude of truth. All right. They have to give you some similitude of truth. Let's go to these scriptures. Now we're going to talk about the end of days. I see a lot of people talking about the end is coming. Oh, the end is coming. It's almost over. A lot of people are titling videos, the end of the world is here. It's almost there. And it's all, listen, it's been the end of the world for a long time now. And what I've noticed in a lot of these videos from a lot of content creators, when they speak about the end of the world, they're not talking about the real signs of the times, according to the Bible. They're talking about what's going on in the world and the oppositions and impositions that's being set up against us, which is really doing nothing but causing fear. Because you're thinking about people coming to your home and killing you and destroying you and putting you in guillotines, and you're not looking at what the Heavenly Father is saying about the end and what we should be looking for. Listen, the Romans, the Luciferians, the pagans, They've been waging war against God's people forever. So that's nothing new right there. The police that's policing your community, a lot of them are just like Roman soldiers of old. And we've always been among them. So that's nothing new right there. But what we should be looking for is what's taking place in the earth. What the Most High said to look out for. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places. That is one of the, listen, that scripture right there is exactly the signs of the times we should be looking for. And that's what's happening. That's how we know it's the end of days. What they've done with Agenda 21, cutting off the farmland, that's going to cause pestilence. Now, you know, you got locusts in various places. You got earthquakes getting hit in various places. The Madrid fault line is on the cusp of getting cracked. You got flooding everywhere. You got the seas turning red. You got birds falling from the sky. You got fish brushing up on the ocean shore dead. Like, this is, to me, I believe that as people, we should be more focused on that, because that's the power of the air right there. That's the Most High talking to you. He's talking to the earth. He's talking to us. He's telling us, y'all need to get it right. Y'all need to get into this word and follow me. Y'all need to honor my laws and my commandments. You can either follow man's laws or God's laws. There's no in between. You only can do one or the other. The Most High is ready for us to yield our own powers and give them over to him. Everybody want to be a boss, but who's going to be a servant in these times? We got to serve our Father, man. Stop falling for these organizations who are just swaying you in one direction or another in our communities. You know, I've stated before that Black Lives Matter was funded by George Soros. I told the people in my community. That this was about money. A lot of people who are out there marching, I told my people that, you know, they're getting paychecks. NFAC, Not Effing Around Coalition, they get paid. For those who follow me on Patreon, I expose them. I expose them to the T on how they get paid, how they are provocateurs leading us to our destruction. When I say it, it's considered a conspiracy theory. Now, since a lot of y'all like to follow Trump, right? A lot of y'all, especially in the Christian church and in the conscious community, who is rallying behind Donald Trump right now, since y'all like to follow him, since I've been telling you that Black Lives Matter was funded by George Soros and his agents and provocateurs, you didn't believe me because a lot of y'all are still pro BLM. I'm going to let you hear Donald Trump, your Messiah, say the very same thing I said, because this is conspiracies becoming reality. This is conspiracies becoming reality. Let's get it.
On Friday, President Trump falsely claimed protesters were not motivated by their concerns, but by paychecks from...
What? They're not motivated by the concerns of the death of George Floyd, the Freemason porn star rapper? It's really about a paycheck? That's what Trump said? Oh, wow, I'm shocked. Let's get it.
Billionaire George Soros instead, quote...
Oh, he said it started by George Soros? Donald Trump said that, right? Oh, let's go back.
On Friday, President Trump falsely claimed protesters were not motivated by their concerns, but by paychecks from billionaire George Soros instead, quote...
Well, that's a very old, tired, anti-Semitic...
Whoa, he used the big A word. He said the A word.
Very old anti-Semitic trick.
Oh, wow. Hold up. Let's hear that again.
President Trump falsely claimed protesters were not motivated by their concerns, but by paychecks from billionaire George Soros instead. Quote,
Well, that's a very old, tired, anti-Semitic, very old anti-Semitic trick that people have
Quote,
usually on the internet, Mika.
the very
Oh.
rude
Yeah, that's what those internet people say. It's very anti-Semitic. I don't know. Saying that George Floyd funds, I don't know. I'm not sure what is anti-Semitic. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure what that means at this point. But anyway, let's see.
elevator screamers are paid professionals only looking to make senators look bad. Don't fall for it. Also, look at all of the professionally made identical signs paid for by Soros and others.
Wow, that sounds like an astute observation. Donald Trump tweets, the very rude elevator screamers are paid professionals only looking to make senators look bad. Don't fall for it. Also, look at all the professionally made identical signs paid for by Soros and others. These are not signs made in the basement from love. Troublemakers. I mean, I've noticed that. I noticed that a lot of the forefronters and head runners are getting locked up, posing for the camera, taking pictures. I noticed a whole lot about what's going on. So if the president is able to make this astute observation without being censored, then why not me, New Breed, be able to make the same observation without being censored and without being, I would say, ostracized by my own people for pointing out the same damn thing that your savior, Donald Trump, points out, because y'all love Donald Trump.
These are not signs made in the basement from love. With the hashtag troublemakers. Trump's comments, which was examined and debunked by the Washington Post, came shortly after this exchange on Fox Business with Judiciary Chair Chuck Grassley.
Do you believe George Soros is behind all of this, paying these people to get you and your colleagues in elevators or wherever they can get in your face?
I tend to believe it. I believe it fits in his attack mode that he has.
Hey, Chuck Grassley believes the same thing, right? Is this conspiracy or reality? Oh, man.
Yami Shalsendor, are these protesters paid?
Oh, my fault.
What do you make of this?
Let me go back
These are
here.
not signs. Post came shortly after this exchange on Fox Business with Judiciary Chair Chuck Grassley.
Do you believe George Soros is behind all of this, paying these people to get you and your colleagues in elevators or wherever they can get in your face?
I tend to believe it. I believe it fits in his attack mode that he has.
Yami Shalsendor, are these protesters paid, or what do you make of this?
No, I don't think the protesters are paid by George Soros. But even further, what I want to say is that the Republican Party and a lot of the Republican leadership are really...
Isn't that ironic? They went and got a female of Negroid descent, a melanated female, with a very short haircut to tell you, nah, I don't think it's funded by George Floyd. I don't think that's true. Why do they always have to put one of our people on camera to keep us in this box? Why? Your president just said who it was. Chuck Grassley just said who it was. Then they took one of our people and they put her on the forefront.
Like Donald Trump. I've been really taken aback by covering President Trump and all this conversation that people had about him coming in and maybe being somehow watered down by the Republican leadership, and maybe there are adults in the room who will make President Trump act in a different way. And what we've seen instead is that everyone starts acting like President Trump. When Brett Kavanaugh testified, he was talking about the Clintons' revenge. He was talking about the 2016 election. Lindsey Graham is using the word slut whore. There's this idea that President Trump...
All right, so now they're just trying to deviate and confuse the people, but they never get to the facts. Is George Soros funding Black Lives Matter? And listen, I'm not going to say whether or not he is or isn't. I've said it in the past that I believe he is. And since they're sharing their opinions, then I'm just going to share my opinion that I believe he is. All right, let's make that clear. And also a lot of correspondents and attendants, along with the U.S. president, believes the same thing. But that's neither here nor there. The bottom line is you cannot put trust in something that you don't know who's following, who's leading it. You cannot put your trust in something that you don't even know who the leader is. You don't, listen, you don't put trust in something you don't know the leader, or if you don't know what God that person serves. If you don't know what God a person serves and you don't know who the leader is, you don't follow it. I mean, this could be all so very simple. It can all be so very simple. Now, let's go to this word. Matthew 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Now, we've already heard lots of wars, rumors of wars. Now, it's a reason why Christ was telling his disciples that we can't be troubled by these rumors of wars. Listen, anytime we're troubled in our spirit and we're afraid of what's going on, we're easily led by emotions. Your emotions can be dangerous in this time. We got to get our emotions in check. We got to stay fervent in this word. And that's just straight up. All right. And just know, brothers and sisters, that the Most High God is in control of all of this. And that's what I really wanted to get to. I really wanted to talk about how everything that's happening in the world right now is just confirmation for the chosen. A lot of people like to throw around that word chosen, but listen, if this message resonates within your spirit, you are truly chosen. You get it. The veil has been lifted and you can hear. What you do with this information is up to you, but just know, everything that they told us was a conspiracy. Everything that we were watching and seeing. When we spoke to people about martial law, when we spoke to people about food shortages, I had a dream over a year ago about a food shortage. And I put the video up over a year ago, before coronavirus, before COVID-19. People called me crazy. People in my immediate circle was like, what are you talking about? Why are you on the internet telling people it's going to be a food shortage? Now, when you go to a grocery store, there's not a shelf that's full. The Most High is constantly confirming things to his saints. He don't reveal nothing to this earth until he reveal it to y'all first. That's why it's important to talk about our visions, our dreams, the things we've seen. We got to start congregating with each other on a spiritual level. Everybody who's claiming they spiritual don't mean they working with the Most High. There's demons that's spiritual. The people who control this world are spiritual because they do witchcraft. They do black magic. The same people that's in Agenda 21 who want to depopulate, these are the same people drinking blood. These are the same people sacrificing children. These are the same people who got pedophile rings. These are the same people who are enemies of the Most High. So just because a person is talking one way don't mean a damn thing. Listen, the Bible says in the last days, people would take heed to seducing spirits, to false doctrine, to lies, to different ideologies, to various teachings. People would cleave to these things. People would cleave to witchcraft and sorcery. A lot of the people that you see online are witches. They're witches. I don't understand personally how a person can watch my material and then turn around and watch the material of all these witches. They say, hey, you know, I watch spiritual videos. I watch your videos, Breed, and I watch this person and that person. Listen, save that information. Don't tell me you watching this concrete Bible information, this concrete, solid doctrine that I'm bringing. And then you turn around and watching these stargazers, these moon gazers. these tarot card readers, these mirror gazers. How can you mix the truth with magic and witchcraft and sorcery? We are very spiritual beings as well. But the difference is we know who our God is. We know who the higher power is. We don't have many gods. We don't serve Amun-Ra. We don't serve the God of the dead. We don't serve all these Egyptian gods that already fell and were destroyed. Egypt fell and Egypt ain't coming back. Right now, it's time for the Pharaoh to let our people go. Let our people go. Anything else outside of this message is a damn lie from hell. Period. And I ain't saying no names and nobody. I'm telling you the truth, and wherever the chips may land, it is what it is. Straight up. Don't compare me to them. Don't lump me in with them. I'm not them. This is a whole nother level right here. Straight up. Give respect to where respect is due. Give credit to what credit is due. These dudes are liars, and when things hit the fan, all of their frivolous videos ain't gonna be able to help you in your journey. The Bible tells us to meditate on the word of the Most High. The reason why the chosen are able to survive gang stalking, neighborhood mobbing, the only reason we able to survive that is because we done meditated on this word and we done weighed our troubles through the parameters of the scriptures. And we know that the prophets of old went through the same thing. That's the only reason we're able to survive what we've survived. So much so, we done survived gang stalking to the point so much so people don't even want to believe that it happened to us. People don't even want to believe that local law enforcement was watching us based on the fact that we were God's people, based on the fact that we studied the word, based on the fact that we wasn't backbiting and gossiping, based on the fact that we wasn't slandering people through the neighborhood, based on the fact that we wasn't doing what everybody else was doing. We were to ourselves. Since we stayed isolated, since we stayed prayed up, since we mind our business, since we didn't bother others, we had our whole communities watching us. And you telling me that this not a spiritual war? We had our whole communities outlawing us. We had our whole families cast us out. The whole family turned on you. The whole neighborhood turned on you because you wasn't doing what the world was doing. And now those same dumbass people in your community are looking at you because they thought you were weird until they found out that this world is what's weird. The controllers of this world is what's weird. We just seen it when conspiracies become reality. If y'all like this video, y'all make sure y'all share it. More live streams coming, more content coming. If you want exclusive content that goes into further details on current world events, y'all make sure y'all follow me on Patreon. Show your support for the real. For as little as $3, you can have access to exclusive content. Support the real. Y'all spend that every day. If you want this information and you want things to continue to flourish, then just support what helps you in your walk. All right. Also follow me on Instagram at newbreed404. All right, because I'm gonna start making posts on Instagram more frequent. Also, if you like this hat right here, Rima Word Clothing, I'm gonna leave a link in the description box as well. Support our people, because listen, it's gonna come a time where we gotta support each other, because we gotta rely on each other. All right, it is what it is. Start investing in your interest. Invest in your interest. All right. But thank you, family. Thank y'all for catching another live stream. Hopefully it helps you out in your walk and your journey. If it did, share it. With that being said, shalom and peace.